Stadium in New Hope at Cooper High School. It's an all Robbinsdale District football matchup for you tonight. A battle of the birds, the Armstrong Falcons and the Cooper Hawks. Hi, I'm Jay Wilcox. Welcome to Homecoming 2017 at Cooper High School and a renewal of a great rivalry. It's a rivalry always, but it's even better when the teams are a combined 7-1 coming in like they are this season. Cooper's had a tremendous year. They've pretty much run roughshod over every opponent so far, outscoring teams by an average of 39-9 in their 4-0 start. They are up to number 4 in the state Class 5A rankings this week. People are noticing the Hawks, and for good reason. They've had a great start. Meanwhile, Armstrong, a young team, but somewhat surprisingly off to a nice 3-1 start. They haven't gotten a lot of notice so far. Falcons, of course, still in Class 6A, but they put together a pretty good season after an opening loss to Chanhassen. They've rattled off 3 straight wins, kind of getting a little bit better each week, and they'd love to come in and spoil homecoming here against Cooper. 1 year ago, Armstrong came in as an underdog over at their place. They led for almost the entire game before Cooper scored a thrilling win late with a touchdown in about the last minute to win 16-14. So we're hoping for a close one like that here again this evening. Let's take a look at a couple of key players to watch in tonight's contest. We've picked out a couple of guys who excel on defense at linebacker. Starting with the visitors from Armstrong, Michael Wozniak is a guy who can get to the ball in a hurry and make some strong tackles for their team, kind of getting things started. They don't have a lot of seniors on their team. He's one of them, though, and one of the guys who's played quite a bit of football for the Falcons. They will count on him to try and limit some of the passing game for Cooper, but also try and get there and stop the run. And meanwhile, for Cooper, a guy who was, I thought last year, one of the best-kept secrets around. Now he's not so much of a secret, but Ante Burns is a tremendous football player for the Hawks. Returned the opening kickoff for a touchdown against Spring Lake Park to get them started in a big win there. But he's also played great defense as he has been accustomed to throughout his career. A couple of interceptions this year. They've also returned some for touchdowns, and not just Ante part of that. So Cooper did lose some to graduation last year, but they got a lot of key guys back in great positions, including Ante, who is verbally committed to Montana State University. Well, we'll see how this one shakes out. It's an early start, a 5 o'clock start as these teams do battle here. They haven't played all that often in recent years. Cooper has won the last 3 meetings, including, as I said, a 2-point win 1 season ago. It's the Falcons and the Hawks, and it is coming up next on CCX.
What makes your community feel like home? Is it knowing what's happening in your neighborhood, or when people know your name? Connections make us a community. For more than 30 years, Northwest Community Television has connected citizens, neighbors, even sports fans through video. As life gets busier than ever, we will still offer you a connected community experience through CCX Media, so you can stay connected to the place you call home.
And welcome back here to Cooper High School, a 5 o'clock start. Beautiful afternoon / early evening for this one. Weather not a concern in any way, shape, or form here tonight as the Falcons and Hawks get set to battle. Joining us from the sideline once again tonight is Allie Arlt. Let's go down to Allie.
Hey, Jay, you touched on it in the open, the complete domination of Cooper so far this season. So let's dig a little deeper. Through 4 games so far this season, the team has scored 153 points. 92 of those points have come in the second quarter. And not only that, they are outscoring opponents 92-0. That is unbelievable. I asked Coach Howard what's going on in that second quarter, and he said, you know, our guys just need a little bit of time to feel out another team when they come out onto the field. So once they've got that confidence, that they've got that understanding in the first quarter, you see the confidence soar, and you will see a change between his team in the first and second quarter. So that'll be fun to look out for tonight. I also asked Coach, has this team really been tested yet this year? And he said, oh yes, every single game is a test, but our goal is to come out each week and be 1-0. Tonight is no different. Jay?
Thank you very much, and I happened to be at Cooper's first game of the season against Park Center, and it was very much fitting with what Allie was just talking about. First quarter, not a whole lot happened for either team. It was still 0-0, and then all of a sudden, bang, Cooper poured it on, and by halftime they were comfortably ahead and went on to win. There's Jack Negan, the Armstrong head coach, and he talked this week about how much he and Coach Howard really respect each other and like each other. So all the talk about all the, the rivalry and stuff is kind of, he thinks maybe just a little bit overblown, but obviously it may be different for the players and the alumni, maybe as much as anything, really fueling this rivalry, especially when they went some years without playing. And I think that kind of rekindled things. And also the fact that both teams have really kind of turned things around as programs and done much better in recent years than maybe what they had been doing for a while. Jafar Abdul Rahman will kick off here for Cooper. The Hawks won the toss but elected to defer until the second half. A.J. Stoker and Nassim Lozier waiting for it, and Lozier will take it on the 14-yard line, weaving his way back through the middle and then grabbed and dropped just over the 30-yard line. So Armstrong will have the football for the first time. Cooper in their all-black uniforms. They've got a lot of different color combinations. They've worn these just once before against Spring Lake Park a year ago. So they bring them out for homecoming here against their rivals from Armstrong. Armstrong will start Tyler Fliss at quarterback. We saw him play very well against Hopkins. They've kind of had some alternating situation going on, and not a guarantee that we won't see more than one QB from them tonight. From the 31 now, first down and 10 here for Armstrong. Flag down as they complete it out to Lozier. I think this one will be a penalty against the offense more than likely here, as that flag flew, or a flag from each side flew right at the snap. Coach Howard of Cooper is saying move them back. And a 5-yarder against Armstrong to begin. So they look like they had a little safe completion to start it out. Instead, they're going to be pushed back 5, and it'll be first down and 15 for the Falcons. DeAndre Gates will be the feature back tonight. One of the captains, Jesse Sherwood, is banged up and not going to see action for Armstrong, their leading rusher. Gates came in and had a nice game, though, against Forest Lake last week. Gates will take the handoff here, and he is wrapped up and thrown down hard. Cooper's defensive line has come along pretty well this year, and that stop made by Cortez Bell. That was one of the spots where they really didn't have much returning. And they were very happy with the way things have gone. Coach said, we stopped the run up front, and then the guys in the secondary do a nice job behind it. Fliss get a handoff again to Gates. Gets by the first man and then wrapped up. And he'll be stopped a little bit short of the 30, so it's going to bring up a third and about 11 or 12 here for the Falcons. Spotted at the 28-yard line here still, so Armstrong quickly up to the line of scrimmage here as they face a third down and long. Cooper trying to get off the field in a hurry and get their offense on. 2 receivers each way here for the Falcons. Fliss, good time, throws complete over the middle, but then an immediate hit. And it is going to be ruled a catch, but no fumble. Burns wrapping up the receiver, Bowman. They'll give him the completion and then down by contact after a 5-yard gain, obviously well short of the first down. So they'd already ruled that a catch. Matthew Jager on to punt here for Armstrong, and Phoenix Sproles, the dangerous return man, back deep here for the Hawks. Cooper trying to set up a return. Jager a little bit off the side of his foot, and it will go out of bounds. Looks like inside the 35. A 34-yard punt, so not too bad, especially when you keep it away from Sproles. He didn't hit it all that well, but I don't think you necessarily want to give Phoenix a great opportunity to get back and run back things. So Cooper coming out offensively. Cameron King, a veteran quarterback for them and a good one, and he's got some good receivers. I mean, they're pretty solid all the way along. Got some game breakers. They've also got a big offensive line with some talent to it as well. So from the 33, first down. King will hand off on the opening play. Pretty well defended that time as he gives it off to Nasir Borden, who's not real big. but an effective runner for the Hawks. He will pick up 3 on this first down carry. So 2nd down and 7 for Cooper. Both teams basically tight endless offenses. See mostly 4 receiver sets, single backs for both. And that one is well defended, as swallowed up immediately there was Nate Hill. And it will bring up a 3rd down and long here, as see guys fighting off blocks immediately, and then nice wrap up there by Ross Graves for the Falcons. It'll be a loss of a couple actually for Cooper on that play. So 3rd and long for Cooper, as both defenses have stepped up and played pretty well on the very early plays of this contest. King looking down the left side, now goes short with it, and a big time collision as Becak delivering a hit just about the time the ball got there. It looked like he possibly could have been early, and Cooper sure thought so, but officials don't feel the same. As we get another look at this one here, it's either great timing or, yeah, it looked like pretty good timing there, as he tried to go to Pedro Musu as the leading receiver for the Hawks. And it will bring up a punting situation. Sproles is the punter for Cooper. Joma Norman waiting back deep here for Armstrong. Sproles will boot it away, and it's a good kick, and Norman lets it go over his head, and it takes a nice bounce for the Hawks, and it's going to get all the way down to the 13-yard line. About a 54-yard punt all told there, as Armstrong maybe underestimating Sproles a little bit or not reading the wind, and Norman lets that one get well over his head. So probably not what they were looking for special teams wise there. You really want to catch the punt whenever possible there. It was going to be over his head though, so they'll be cognizant of that next time around. 13-yard line here for Armstrong as they get the football for the 2nd time. Just underway here, about 4 minutes in, and both teams having to punt early on. Handoff going left side to Gates. New quarterback in there is Cole Preem for Armstrong. So Preem getting the 2nd series. He and Fliss are both juniors. You see number 12, Preem. Gates picking up a few here. And off back to Gates, running hard into a pile there. Cooper trying to rip the ball free as he crossed the 20 out to about the 21, 22-yard line. Leave him short of the first down, but not by a whole lot. Nice gainer there for Armstrong, and it will bring up 3rd and a yard here. Got a pretty good push. They've got a big offensive line as well. There's some big boys hitting, going head-to-head inside tonight. Both coaches were kind of relishing that a little bit, that seeing another team with some of that same kind of size, and they'll see how they match up. Preem looking to throw, fires a hard hit delivered on Bowman. And let's see, the forward progress might give him up. No, it doesn't look like it. They're going to mark it back where he was knocked back to, as Terrence Nicholson came up quick with the hit. And I got to believe Armstrong right now is saying, you know, shouldn't he be, well, he did turn and start to try to run again. So I guess I can see why that wasn't a forward progress situation there. And Bowman will end up actually losing a little bit there, so they'll have to punt, and Jagger coming on. Nicholson is a good one at corner for Cooper. He came up, made an immediate hit, and ended up really stopping him from getting a first down. Jagger, a good punt. Sproles coming up late. Ooh, and he looked like he misjudged it a little bit, but then he just gets on top of it at about the 42 or 43-yard line. He was waiting for that one. It looked like he was looking away a little bit, and then when he looked up, realized this ball's going to land just a little bit short of me. But got back to it just ahead of Jalen Robinson, who was coming down hard for Armstrong. So Football on the 43 for Cooper. They've kind of just traded punts back and forth here in the early going. Cooper's field position just slightly better now than it was the first time they got the football. Cameron King's had a great start to this season. As we said, played a lot of football for this team. Handoff going to Henderson and nearly shook that last tackler there as well. But Gerald Shepard holding on. That's Victor Henderson, a much bigger, he gets a fair number of carries for them as well. He's bigger than Borden, bigger and stronger, 5'10", 185. So a little nice backfield combination there for the Hawks. And Henderson, it was a good gain as it was, and he nearly broke completely free there. They'll be out to the 49-yard line, so 2nd and 4 here for Cooper. King handing off to Henderson again. This time he is met and dragged down. Tyler Peterson, the lanky defensive end there, outside linebacker, really 6'6", 200. Got up and wrapped his arms around Henderson, and not much of a gain right there. It was just kind of a stalemate. And really about back to the line of scrimmage they'll go. So 3rd and 4 coming up here for Cooper. Neither team's had a first down as of yet. Been kind of a feel them out defensive first quarter so far. King fakes the handoff, rolling to his left and fires, and is the catch made here? No, juggled and Sproles. Boy, there was a lot of room to run if King wanted to get that first down, but he spotted Sproles. He could have easily picked up the first down, but he has confidence in his receivers, and he put it on him pretty good. Sproles was trying to get that foot down, and instead not quite able to haul that one in, so it will bring up a 4th down. Both teams would only be natural if there's a little bit of jitters. There's obviously a lot of talk in the community about, oh, it's Armstrong Cooper week and all that, so you could certainly see that happening early on, and as Ali said, not necessarily unusual for Cooper to maybe not start super quick. Sproles, a very high short punt this time. Norman coming up was going to try to grab it but didn't, and Cooper will down it at about the 18-yard line. The Hawks maybe could have let that one bounce and see if it would do any more for him there, but be about a 33-yard punt. And Armstrong getting the football back. With as much sun as there is out right now, it kind of reminds you of that first week of the season, or first and second weeks, when, even at 7 o'clock starts, there was still an awful lot of sunlight to go. This one, of course, a 5 p.m. start. And another new quarterback in there for Armstrong. It is the sophomore, Breitbach, and he will keep it on the left side, brought down by Torian Kane. So Jake Breitbach, a 10th grader who they really like, and said, sooner rather than later, he's probably going to get some playing time, and he comes in, already the 3rd quarterback Armstrong has used. And he will pick up 4 on that play, and now we get a false start, it looks like, here against the Falcons. Be their 2nd penalty. That is one thing that obviously can change a little bit, is the cadence of a quarterback. So bringing, when you're working different guys in, you're hearing a different voice, and maybe timing things out isn't quite as easy. So 2nd and long now for Armstrong as they split 2 receivers each way. Keep in mind, Cooper's been a real aggressive in creating turnovers this year too. Breitbach handing it off to Gates, and he has stood up, and not much chance he's going to get away from big Dwayne Taylor. 5'10", 325, and Taylor just wraps him up hard and hangs on. So 3rd and long coming up here for the Falcons, 3rd and 11. Breitbach, we'll see if we see him go to the air for the first time. He's been apparently lighting it up on the sophomore level, and now getting his opportunity here in the varsity contest. Fakes the handoff to Gates. Breitbach not able to escape though. Cooper flowing to the football nicely. I believe that was Madison who came up and got him. It was Justin Madison. And he'll stop him for a short loss on the play. So Breitbach down. Armstrong has not done much on offense so far, though neither is Cooper. Jaeger standing back inside his 5-yard line as he gets ready to boot this one away. Good high spiral, chases Sproles back inside the 40. Makes the first man miss and almost snuck all the way through. He's into Armstrong territory. That's the dangerous thing about booting that ball long, is you get a chance for Phoenix Sproles to cut loose. And he will have a return of about 14 yards here. You see the great first move. And he ended up really damaging Armstrong late in that game last year with a touchdown reception and then an interception to clinch it. Phoenix Sproles is committed to North Dakota State. So the field position battle slowly but surely getting better and better for Cooper. This time they'll get it in Armstrong territory here as King and company come out for the 3rd time. 1st down and 10. Fakes the handoff, little swing out to a Musu. Becak coming up to meet him, and he'll wrestle him down at about the 44-yard line here. So give him gain of 4 on the play. Nice little safe play to get things started. Pedro Mosu, an elusive and good receiver. King this time handing it off to Henderson. Almost escaped Wozniak's tackle. As it was, you'll get it down close to the 40. Give him 3 more. He made a nice little move. Wozniak didn't give up on it though, and he stayed with him, got to him on the legs there and able to wrap him up. Didn't get quite as far as I thought there. He's just outside the 41. 3rd and 3 here for the Hawks. Lead in the 1st quarter and no score on the board here in the all Robbinsdale district battle. King wears the glove on the left hand, but not on the right throwing hand. Gonna go back here to Henderson. Oh, and he's tripped up and gonna be short of the 1st down, as getting a piece of him was Tyler Peterson. Looked like at first he was gonna get there. Instead, he'll only get about a yard as they just clipped his heel. Cooper, I don't think it's too tough a choice in this spot. You're gonna go for it. 4th down and 2 from the Armstrong 40. Even if you don't make it, you have confidence in your D, and the field position isn't too bad. King's going to hand it off, and it is Ante Burns in their specialty run, short yardage situation. Peterson brings him down, but not before he picks up the 1st down and a 7-yard gain. So Burns, they use him primarily on D, but he is a tough kid to bring down too. That was actually well blocked as well. Nobody really got to him until he had already picked up the 1st down, and then Burns able to get as much as he can. And always a tough call for coaches at this level. How much do you use your stud defensive player on offense or vice versa? Looks like Burns will stay in there for now. Burns gets a handoff again, shrugged off the first tackler, but sticking with it was Graves, and ultimately able to get him on the ground after about a 2-yard gain. That could be the last play of the 1st quarter if Cooper wants it that way here. We're down under 15 seconds to go. They do not have to snap the ball again. They come up to the line. I'm not sure if they're aware of it or if it matters to them actually which direction they're headed in here. Does not look like they will get another snap. They are going to bring it to the end of quarter number 1 here, and it's been a defensive battle so far. Cooper just recently getting the first down of the game as they have it in Armstrong territory. After 1 quarter, it is Falcons nothing, Hawks nothing. The 2nd quarter coming up here on CCX Sports.
The color in my garden keeps the pink in my cheeks. I was very independent and thought I could take care of myself. I fell and I had to have Meals on Wheels. They're my savior. My name is Lola Silvestri. America, let's do lunch.
Drop off a hot meal and say hello. Volunteer by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
no surprise to see a great crowd on hand here. It's homecoming at Cooper, and obviously it's not very far away from an Armstrong as well, and they've got a lot of fans on the other side too. And like we talked about earlier, you know, it certainly doesn't hurt that they're both doing well too. You know, a lot of folks would come out anyway just because it's Armstrong Cooper, but when they're both having nice seasons, it certainly gets a lot of interest built up as well. King looking to the sideline here as they will begin quarter 2, 2nd and 8 from the 31 of Armstrong, and we are going to have a flag fly. This looks like this will be first penalty assessed to Cooper. Armstrong took a couple of 5-yarders in the first quarter, and that was the first one on Cooper as an early start there. Some, you know, interesting new opponents this year, primarily for Armstrong. They're, you know, a little switch of the sub-district, so they're in with some different teams, and some of the opponents stay the same, but some not as much. 2nd and long here. King under a little pressure throws, and a hit frees that ball up. It'll be incomplete. Oh, we get a late flag. Looks like it might go against Cooper. Peterson lost his helmet. You see as King throwing it out here in the flat, Peterson delivering a hit. Oh, his helmet was ripped off there by Burns, I think it was. You see right there, makes the hard hit, and then he followed through and took the helmet off. So it is a 15-yarder against Cooper. So if I'm reading it right there, the play will stand. It was an incomplete pass, and then 15 yards tacked on after that, and that's a little bit of the emotion of the game, or a little bit of the emotion of the rivalry there, and happening right in front of the official, and I think a call that obviously had to be made. He pulled the helmet off. So back to the 49-yard line of Cooper. Got about 28 yards to go here. King with the rush coming, throws complete. But Armstrong able to flow to the ball and keep this one well short of a possible first down as he hits Adrian Adams. Adams made Becak miss right here, but then you see a lot of white jerseys coming. And he'll get 9 on that completion. Now it is 3rd down, so I believe it was incorrect earlier that last play they ruled that the personal foul was all part of the play, so the down did not count. So now 3rd down here. King firing over the middle, and it is tipped and intercepted. Armstrong coming up with the pick as it's grabbed by Weston Johnson after Becak freed it up. Again, got there just about the same time as the ball, and it pops in the air, and Weston Johnson did a good job of getting his body underneath it. And so Armstrong will force the first turnover of the game. Becak reading it well, got to him right as the ball got there. And so Armstrong able to hold Cooper's drive in check here at about the 31-yard line. Right box still in at quarterback, the sophomore. Looking to throw and incomplete as he tried to go to Stoker. A.J. Stoker covered by Nicholson. And it will bring up a 2nd down and 10. Really feel like Armstrong's had the ball much or moved it all that much. Gates has had a couple decent runs, but only completed 2 passes and for a total of 4 yards. Right back, fakes the handoff, now rolling to his left. Ooh, and he takes a hard hit. Welcome to varsity ball right there, as he was popped good there by Nate Hill, who's had a nice season for the Hawks.
Breitbach will pick up 3 on that play, so 3rd and about 7 here for the Falcons. No score early on in the second quarter here in the all Robbinsdale battle here. Breitbach rolling to his right, looking downfield, and did he get the foot in? It looks like it will be out of bounds, as unable to get his foot down was Ty Bowman, the talented sophomore. He was definitely open kind of on that intermediate level. And down the sideline, Bowman getting up. Yeah, that foot definitely comes down out of bounds, the left foot. So Jaeger on to punt again. Sproles, the return man. Another high kick, fair catch called for this time, and Sproles will make it at the 28. 38-yard punt, no return. And Cooper will get the football back here. So the turnover does not end up costing them, but they quickly hold and get the football back. Coach Howard giving some instruction there to Terrence Nicholson. Can't say enough about the job that he and his staff have done here with Cooper. I mean, and not just winning games either. He's a lot of tough love with his team, but really getting guys to do the right things in school and classroom and everything. Here's Burns down the right sideline and forced out of bounds. Nice gainer, really the best offensive play of the game for either team right there, as Ante Burns will rip off a 17-yarder, and watch, it's well blocked up front. They get Armstrong flowing a little bit, and he just bounces it. Got a good block out on the outside there as well. And to the 45-yard line here, Cooper trying to get a little march going. They've been kind of stagnant offensively, as has Armstrong in the early going here. Hill in the backfield next to King now. He will take the handoff, and he slips, but keeps his feet enough to get into Falcons territory there. And about a 7 or 8 yard pickup. Let's go down to Allie right now for an injury update.
Hey, Jay, something I've been noticing is number 26, Victor Henderson for Cooper, the running back, has been working on some sort of a hip injury with their trainer, using different materials to rub something out. So having him not on the field is definitely a factor on offense for Cooper, but we'll keep an eye on it for you.
Thanks, Allie, and hopefully he'll be able to come back in, but they got some other guys who can get the job done too. Here's King throwing, and it is complete. Mosu trying to fight out of a tackle, but he'll have a first down to the 40-yard line here. 41 anyway. He'll pick up about 11 on that completion as Cooper kind of get a little march going. I like the fact that Pedro was not just looking to get down when he caught that one. He tried to fight his way through that group, but they were able to get him to the turf. There you see quick play action and then the quick throw out in the flat. 3 guys there for Armstrong, and they've played well defensively also tonight. From the 41 now of Armstrong, 1st and 10. King looking deep down the right side for Sproles. He's got him. It's a touchdown. Cooper breaking through with a 41-yard strike. King to Sproles. They've been catching him a little bit with play action, and that time Sproles getting behind the defense. The fake to Burns, one-on-one coverage out there, and he got well behind Joe Norman. Had to wait for the ball just a touch, but able to easily haul it in and go the rest of the way for a 41-yard touchdown. And so Cooper on the board here with 9:05 to go in the second quarter. Abdul Rahman on to attempt the extra point, and the kick is no good. So with 9:05 to play, it becomes 6-0 Cooper as Phoenix Sproles on the receiving end of this Cameron King toss. Boy, I think their eyes lit up on this when Norman knew he was beat and just had to make a lunge for him, could not get there, and Sproles goes the distance. Boy, they had a lot of room to work with down that sideline, too. That's a tough cover for any high school D-back. And King able to put the ball on him. The offensive line, the thing you always kind of tend to overlook a little bit is that they're giving King time to be able to throw that. I mean, obviously that play didn't take all that long to develop. It was a quick play action fake and then release, but that's been a big key to their success this year too, as King has now thrown for 13 touchdown passes. Started all of last year and really played a lot as a sophomore too. They had Philip Howard too, but King did see quite a bit of time as a passer then as a sophomore as well. So a very experienced quarterback and a good one. Abdul Rahman will kick it away here for the Hawks as they now are in front 6-0. Armstrong would like to get a special teams play to maybe help them get started. Stoker's going to take it on the 10. Cuts over the 30, steps over a tackler, and bumped out of bounds just over midfield and brought down a little bit extra out of bounds there, but they rule that the tackle started inbounds, I think. So it will be just into Cooper territory here. Watch Stoker step over. He gets a tackler missing right there. Well, let's watch the end of it. There he's bumped, and I think Cooper's a little bit fortunate that one didn't go for 15 against him. So the Falcons, great field position. Just as I said, this is something they could really use as a special teams play to get them a little shot in the arm, because they just haven't done much offensively in the early part of the game. Cooper hadn't either until they really got it going and get the completion. Breitbach handing it off up the middle to Gates. Wrapped up there by a couple of Hawks. Hill and Shaquan Watson were both there defensively. I think Hill got most of it. Gates will pick up about a yard. Coach Nagan had a lot of good things to say about Gates. He said he's really matured a lot in the last year. Wasn't able to really play for them last year, and did a nice job last week. And obviously with Sherwood out, he is going to be counted on much more. Timeout taken here by Armstrong. Something not to their liking as they got to the line of scrimmage, whether it be personnel on the field or formation or whatever. And just when they're trying to get a little momentum going, they don't want to have a negative play. So instead, we'll take a timeout here to talk things over a little bit. Look at some of the great homecoming crowd here on the Cooper side of things. It's hard to verify for sure, but I can't believe that Cooper, if they have been ever ranked this high in football in a state poll, it's got to go back to the late 70s, early 80s. That they're up to number 4 this week. And part of that, too, is the good season they had a year ago. They were 8-2. Both losses came to Spring Lake Park, a team that wound up in the Prep Bowl. So I think people, you get your brand out there, you get your name known a little bit with the preceding season, and people were expecting things from Cooper coming in, and obviously they have very much lived up to that. 2nd and 9 now after the timeout here for Armstrong. First time into Cooper territory, obviously, for them. Breitbach faking the handoff now, throwing on the run. Lozier is down there, but it is incomplete. Couple of guys right there, ball underthrown as well. And at that point, their best hope was for a pass interference, but they don't get it. As you see on the run here, Breitbach, kind of a little bit of an awkward looking motion there as just underthrew that ball. Nicholson getting back into it, but I think if he had thrown that ball out farther, Lozier did have at least one step going. He's a guy who is, a little bit raw, but a ton of talent, according to Coach Nagan. So 3rd down and 9 here for the Falcons. And a bad snap. Breitbach fields it on a hop. Now throwing on the run and has Bowman complete. Almost identical looking play to the one that wound up just out of bounds a little bit ago. And this one will be good for the completion. And a pickup of 25 for Armstrong. Their best play of the night so far right there, as Bowman was wide open. And this time obviously able to make the catch inbound. So spotted on the 23-yard line. Armstrong trying to answer Cooper's touchdown as they get a big first down there on 3rd and long. Fakes the handoff. Breitbach keeping it around the left side. Oh, and he is cut down. Going low to make that stop for the Hawks was Rashawn Keaton, who fought off a block and clipped his feet out from under him after a pickup of 3. Watch Keaton, he was pretty well blocked initially, and then he just goes low and takes his feet out. Breitbach, the coaches were telling me this week, pretty good at, sandlot type plays, the Brett Favre type thing where it's something breaks down, and he's a pretty good runner and also can throw when things break down as well. Again, fakes the handoff. He's in trouble here. The ball's knocked loose. And that will be a fumble, but recovered by Armstrong as Ante Burns gets in for the sack. And fortunately for the Falcons, one of the linemen, Robert McHenry, able to get to that ball. They will lose 5, but you see Breitbach a little too confident in his ability to get out of there maybe, and Burns sacks him right there. Forced the fumble, but Armstrong recovers, a loss of 5 on the play. So 3rd and long now for the Falcons. Breitbach throwing, and it is intercepted. Nice hands. Ante Burns coming up with the pick for Cooper. So the previous play he rushes and gets a sack, and this one makes the catch on that one. He was right on the right spot, really undercutting Bowman's route, and just had to look that ball in and make the play, and he did it. So turnover by the Falcons will give it back to Cooper. Ante Burns showing why he's considered one of the better players in the metro area here. Back-to-back plays making his presence felt, and he had that big run as a running back earlier for Cooper. So they get it back, 6:52 to go, 2nd quarter, on their own 16. King fakes the handoff, now swings it out to a Musu, and he slipped down and will be down at the 20 after a gain of 4. Trying to make that cut. Would have been interesting to see where they had some blockers, although the flow wasn't too bad defensively either for Armstrong. Been interesting to see how much more he might have been able to get out of that one. As it is, though, not terrible, a 3-yard gain on 1st down. King this time looking left, throws, and that one is complete. And Armstrong did a nice job getting there. Not a whole lot of running room after the catch for the Hawks, Dekizian Clay. So a gain of about 4 more on that play. Bring up a 3rd down and 4 here for the Hawks. Approaching or past the midway point now of the 2nd quarter. King throwing, and it is intercepted by Becak. And then he goes to a knee, and Armstrong will have it at the 25 of Cooper. As you get another look, King throwing here, and just kind of in between. I think there was some confusion on the route. And Becak here, not really sure why he took a knee there. I thought he had maybe already started to go down, and he, potentially could have run that ball a little bit farther, but as it is, it's still a big play. They have it at the 25-yard line of the Hawks. Cooper, I think, obviously not a great throw either, but I think some confusion on the route there. They had 2 guys, and it was kind of in between them both. Breitbach will hand off to Gates. He is wrapped up early on by Brandon Lyons for the Hawks. He will fall forward for a couple of yards on the play. Key opportunity here for Armstrong really is a little over 5 minutes to go. It doesn't look like in this first half there's going to be a ton of chances either way. And they would really like to capitalize on that turnover, getting the football on Cooper's 25-yard line. Breitbach fakes the handoff. He'll take it himself. Breitbach has some room around the right side. Down the sideline, he'll go. Touchdown. But it looks like we might have a penalty call here. Right near the goal line, the flag flies. So it doesn't look like Breitbach's going to get his touchdown after all. Let's see what the call is going to be, if it's a hold or a block in the back downfield. It is an illegal block in the back against the Falcons. So wipe out the touchdown. I guess for Armstrong it's not so bad though, because it happened all the way down near the goal line, so they'll only be out to the 12. So they'll push it out to the 12-yard line, that 10-yard penalty. Breitbach again keeping it and stumbled. He got through a little bit of a gap and then was just tripped up as he neared the 5-yard line. Here's that previous play here as Breitbach cutting it to the outside, showing a little bit of that speed as they didn't quite get the angle on him at the linebacker level. And yeah, it was the receiver cutting across that made the block possibly Lozier there, right near the end zone there. Probably one he didn't need to make, and you kind of live and learn on those. About a 5-yard pickup last time there by Breitbach. He'll go to Gates here. Woo! Big time collision there. And looks like the Cooper player might be a little shaken up. Hill getting up slow. This was just two guys coming at each other hard, and bang. And Hill is going to have to come off. So it'll be third down here for the Falcons. It's not a goal to go situation. And we're gonna have a timeout taken here by Cooper. They need to get to about the 2.5-yard line for a first down, so they can get a first down without scoring a touchdown here. 3:52 to go in the half. Here's another look as you see Gates and Hill, and they collide hard, and Hill, right away you can kind of see, I want to say it looked like he was reaching more for his shoulder as he came to the sideline, but boy, big situation here really for both teams. Cooper holding on to a 6-0 lead. Armstrong had an apparent touchdown called back by a penalty, but they're still in a good position here. Third and a long 2 at the 4-yard line of Cooper. Got some more beef in there now. This is going to be a heavy set for Armstrong. They got Wozniak in as a fullback. Looks like they're going to see if they can't pound it forward. Go behind that big O line. They got a tight end in there now. Breitbach under center. Handing it off to Gates. Didn't get a whole lot. And definitely not going to have the first down. It'll be 4th down and 2 coming up. Taylor a little slow to get up there for the Hawks, but we talked about it. Cooper's got a big group of D linemen. It's going to be a little hard to just knock them off the ball and get 2 yards here. I think Armstrong's formation showing that a little bit here, that they've got now 3 receivers set. They still do have a fullback in. No question they'd go for it here on 4th down. And now they're going to use another timeout here. This obviously is not the time to have a play that you're not sure of or that you're not confident of. They're going to take this timeout and discuss things. Let's go back to Allie on the sidelines.
Yeah, Jay, you had said, as you saw Nate Hill come off, that it appeared as though he's kind of nursing his shoulder. Trainer looked at it. He was just right back out there on that play right before the timeout was called. Seems to be a little bit limp with it, but nothing that's not holding him back from the field.
Thanks, Allie. And obviously, guys want to play in this game maybe more than any other. They know a lot of the players play youth football together in the Armstrong Cooper Youth Football Association too. So there's there's a lot of wanting to face your friends. There's a lot of rivalry. There's, all of those things built in. Big fourth down play here is really will kind of set the tone for the rest of the half, I think. A little over 3 minutes to go. Breitbach not under center this time. And back to a little more open formation, although they do have a fullback in there. Fakes the handoff to Gates. Breitbach to the left. Now will throw on the run, and the catch is made. It's a touchdown. Held on to by Nathan Pertla for the Falcons, who was in there as a fullback. And so Armstrong on the board. Pertla just over the goal line, gets hit. Really, his own guy wrapping him up too. Pertla makes the catch, and Armstrong is on the board for the first time. And so Jaeger on to attempt the extra point. A little bit of a high snap, but they get it down. The kick is up, and the kick is good. So with 3:04 to go in the second quarter, Armstrong takes a 7-6 lead as they're able to convert on a fourth down play. Again, it wasn't fourth and goal, but they get the touchdown as rolling out into the flat was the fullback Pertla there, and Breitbach able to get it to him just into the end zone, and it is good for 6. And then Jaeger able to finish it with the PAT. So 7-6 Armstrong lead. They're able to capitalize on the turnover. Another look here is Breitbach. At this point, you're thinking he might run, and that's the situation for the D. Actually, it was almost in between a couple of players. Bowman might have been able to catch that as well. But Pertla able to squeeze it for the Falcons. The good news for Cooper, there's still plenty of time to go. 3:04, and they've got a couple of timeouts left. And as they said, a veteran quarterback and some good receivers. I mean, it isn't as though they don't have time to move back down the field here. Jaeger will boot this one away. He's going to drive it low liner, taking on about the 5-yard line and some room to run. Here comes Hill. Hill weaving his way into the Armstrong territory and out over the 40. We have a flag at the end of the play here. The ball came loose at the end, and Armstrong has it, but I don't know if he was ruled down already. Haven't seen any signal in terms of change of possession. I don't think it's going to be a fumble, but it is quite possibly going to be a face mask. Here's our signal. And it is indeed a 15-yard face mask against the Falcons. Flag came out right away here. So Hill back in there, makes a move, makes a cut here, and then right there is where I thought he might have made a slight mistake in terms of where he cut. Back into the flow a little bit. And then you see right at the end the face mask. So timeout taken here as just like that, Cooper, you get a good return. It was already going to be great field position, and then you tack on 15. So they are all the way to the 24-yard line of Armstrong without having to have run an offensive play just yet. So their hopes of answering certainly were bolstered by that special teams play right there. Cooper, just one more home game coming up. That'll be the last game of the regular season, and it'll be against Irondale, a team that, as I think, if you've been following the area, they are a much improved team this year. That should shape up as a good one. Here's another look at this one as Hill cuts it back. The one thing Armstrong did well is that, Jaeger, the kicker, and others didn't overcommit. There you see as they were dragging him down, the ball ripped out, but they ruled that he was already down there. So from the Falcons 24, Cooper now down by a point. but trying to answer it quickly here. Borden takes the handoff, wrapped up, lifted up a little bit there by Wozniak, and he was obviously in the forward progress had stopped there, so not a whole lot of gain there for Borden. He'll pick up a yard or so. Second down and 9. Falcons have had pretty good coverage in this first half. Haven't been able to put a whole lot of heat on King yet, but have had a couple of passes, though, that they picked off. And we're going to have a delay of game call here against Cooper. So move them back 5, bring up a 2nd and long here for the Hawks. So King bringing the play back that time. The only good news about the penalties, he had a little bit of time to go over and get things directly there. 2nd down and 14 now for the Hawks. King throwing and incomplete. Double coverage out there on Sproles. Really never flashed open. The good thing, though, for King is he put that ball to the outside where, you know, if it wasn't Sproles getting it, nobody was going to. But you see this time Armstrong had him bracketed pretty well. Lionel Gates out there underneath. So 3rd down and long here for Cooper. See if they would be thinking about, you know, maybe get half of it here and half of, on a 4th down play. King gets good time. Now it breaks down. Throwing on the run. He had to just get rid of it, and it's out of bounds. Armstrong coaches up top asking for an intentional grounding call. And haven't seen a flag, so apparently it's just going to be an incomplete. Oh, now they do throw it. Going to be an intentional grounding call against King. So it's a loss of down penalty as well. And I think this one is probably a good call. There's no receiver out there, and it's not the same. There's not nearly as much leeway as they give a quarterback in, say, the NFL in terms of just like I was outside the pocket, therefore I can just throw it anywhere I want. Not the case. So it's a spot foul as well. Holy cow, Cooper started at the 24, and they're now all the way back to the 48 and going to have to punt it away. Boy, I don't know. Didn't seem like King was quite this far back when he threw it, but official was right near him, so that drive did not go as planned for the Hawks, that's for sure. Sproles going to try and pin him deep. It's a high punt. Norman again can't get to it, and now Cooper will chase it down, and they're able to down it inside the 10. And Armstrong will have not particularly good field position here. They probably are hoping to just hang on to the ball and run out the clock late. Cooper does have 2 timeouts, though, so if Armstrong just kind of sits on it, they will be able to at least use a couple of timeouts and try and force them to, you know, either hurry a play and maybe get a turnover, but if not that, at least punt it away from deep in their own end. 8-yard line is where they'll spot it. It ended up a little bit further in, but that was after having been touched by the Cooper player, so obviously they don't get that extra yardage when he pushed the ball forward. Breitbach handing off to Gates, trying to sneak through there as Jabari Walker got a piece of him, and then injured is Dwayne Taylor, it looks like, for Cooper. Just a couple yard pickup, and you see Taylor not feeling wonderful right now as he is on his stomach and trainer quickly out. Had a couple injuries tonight, but not too awful much. Let's keep an eye on 74 here. He's this, oh, he got cartwheeled into by his own player there. Ouch. Jabari Walker's momentum kind of whiplashed into the back of his knee there, it looked like. And oh, that one didn't look so good on second look there as Taylor. Little friendly fire really here. Watch as they're both just trying to go for the tackle, and his leg whips around and gets under the back of the knee there of Taylor. The only good news is that his leg didn't stay completely planted there. It came up, but he saw it reach right away for the back, that probably the knee. So they're going to try to help Taylor to his feet, and going to be able to hobble off, but looked like it could have been something that might keep him out. But just have to see. So 2nd down and 7. Gates got a 3-yard gain, and let's hope Taylor's all right here for Cooper. Breitbach faking the handoff. Had a little gap initially, but boy, that closed in a hurry. Wow, Ante Burns showing again his ability to not just get to the football quick, but when he gets there, you're going down. Flashed in out of nowhere and wrapped him up, threw him down. Breitbach did get a couple more yards out of it, but 3rd down coming up. Under a minute to go. Cooper, maybe somewhat surprisingly, did not use a timeout after that play. Breitbach handing it off, and nothing doing there as Gates is wrapped up, and now they're going to use a quick timeout after that 3rd down play. Bring up 4th down for Armstrong here as Cooper gets the stop they wanted. Armstrong got a little tiny bit more breathing room for their punter there, but it'll be 4th down from the 15-yard line. Cooper would love to set up a return. I'm thinking if you're Jaeger here, you don't really want to punt the ball to Sproles. If you can, even if you give up a little bit of distance, got to try to keep the ball away from Phoenix. 49 seconds to go here in this first half. Armstrong leading Cooper by a score of 7-6. But a punting situation coming up here for Armstrong. Sproles waiting back at about midfield here. Cooper is set up for a return on all the previous ones, and it kind of is indicating that they'll try and do so again rather than think about trying to get a block here. But still, you never know. Somebody might be able to get some penetration, get through there. Jaeger standing on about his 1-yard line. Again, they set up for a return, and it's going to take a bounce and go out of bounds at the 48 or so of Cooper, 47-yard line. So another good punt. 38-yarder, no return. We have a flag at the end of the play. We also have an injured Falcon. Boy, this flag came down way after the play. Personal foul against Cooper. And I have to confess to not really seeing it. I don't know if it's related to the player going down here. But it's going to be a 15-yarder against the Hawks. It's like Navante Willard, and he gets up and he'll be all right. So they'll move it all the way back to the 32-yard line of the Hawks. So Cooper with 42 seconds to go and 1 timeout. And now because of the penalty, they have 68 yards to go to the end zone. Going to keep it on the ground here to Burns. Burns getting to the outside and then dragged down. He'll pick up about 3. So 2nd and 7. Cooper quickly back to the line, about 25 seconds to go. King looking to throw this time and incomplete. Intended for Cornelius Wooten, but falls short of the mark. So now it'll bring up a 3rd down and long. King handing it off. Burns trying to break free, and Peterson able to drag him down. Bring up a 4th down play. And that is going to bring us to the half. So interesting first half, a lot of defense, no scoring in the first quarter, and then each team gets a touchdown in the second. Armstrong able to get their conversion to go, so they will grab a 7-6 lead into halftime. Maybe somewhat surprisingly here. I think Cooper came in certainly the favorite coming into the night, but Falcons playing a solid first half. They're able to capitalize on a turnover as Cooper's had a couple of interceptions against to give Armstrong good opportunity here, and they end up taking that 7-6 lead into the halfway point.
Every 60 seconds, someone from and around the globe is diagnosed with cancer.
Got a big halftime planned as well here tonight, of course, on homecoming evening here at Cooper. Their fans had a lot to cheer about on that the pass to Sproles, but later in the quarter, a little more for Armstrong to get excited about as they end up taking that 7-6 lead.
The most money to benefit the American Cancer Society. Who will win?
Let's go down to Alley with Coach Negan.
Thanks, Jay. Coach, a bit of a roller coaster in that first half. I can kind of see it in your face there, but you are up by 1.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, it's a big game. Our kids are playing well. We got to cut back on some of the mistakes, too many penalties, but, you know, our kids are excited and we're playing well, so we'll see.
What adjustments would you like to see made on both sides of the ball in the second?
I'd like to see us not turn the ball over, and I'd like to see us not get dumb penalties.
Absolutely. Good luck in the second,
All right,
Coach.
Thank you.
Jay?
Sally, and thanks to Coach Negan as his team taking a lead into the locker room here at Cooper High School. It is homecoming night. We'll have more of that and more football and first half highlights coming up on CCX Sports.
What makes your community feel like home? Is it knowing what's happening in your neighborhood, or when people know your name? Connections make us a community. For more than 30 years, Northwest Community Television has connected citizens, neighbors, even sports fans through video. As life gets busier than ever, we will still offer you a connected community experience through CCX Media, so you can stay connected to the place you call home.
The color in my garden keeps the pink in my cheeks. I was very independent and thought I could take care of myself. I fell and I had to have Meals on Wheels. They're my savior. My name is Lola Silvestri. America, let's do lunch.
Drop off a hot meal and say hello. Volunteer by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
I rescued Toast from a shelter in 2011. I love Toast because she's a lazy diva. Toast does whatever she wants, obviously. She's sleeping right now. She's an epic snuggler. She's so comforting. She's so loving. Toast makes me laugh. When I walked into the shelter, I knew right then that she was special.
Most of my family, they never graduated high school or even let alone go to college, so I'm trying to break that barrier. Every day after work, went straight to school, studied hard, and it paid off. I could not have done it alone. I see the future is really bright for me. The high school diploma is just added to the confidence, and now I feel unstoppable.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Welcome back to halftime here at Cooper High School. Armstrong 7, Cooper 6 is our score. Earlier this fall, we made some new additions to our CCX Sports Hall of Fame, and one of them, a District 281 athlete from back in the late 1990s, basketball standout Heather Heyman of Armstrong. And here's the story that brought Heather into our hall.
Heyman will go down the lane and up and in.
She was a dominating scorer and rebounder who helped put Armstrong girls basketball on the map in the mid-1990s. We welcome 1997 Armstrong High School graduate Heather Heyman as the newest member of the CCX Sports Hall of Fame. It was early in the 1993-94 season. Heather admits she was a nervous ninth grader.
My first game as a freshman, I had never been so nervous in my life. Still to this day, I don't think. Even fourth in the nation, Division I, and playing in front of thousands of people. I think my freshman year, I was so nervous. And I remember looking over at the court at Patty, and she's like, "You got this. You can do this." I'm like, "I think I got this. I think I can do it."
She just brought this aura about her that put us up at the next level. She was all about teammates. She was all about being coachable. She was all about being competitive. And all of a sudden, our program just elevated 100% her first year as a freshman.
And Heather Heyman has really come alive in the second half.
Soon, though, it was opponents who were nervous. Heyman proved to be hard to stop in the low post. He was a terrific rebounder, too. She brought toughness and a strong work ethic to her game.
I could work. I could work for it, and that if I hustled more, was willing to be more physical, and was willing to work harder and believe that I could do it, I could write my own story.
After earning all-conference honorable mention honors as a freshman, Heather developed into a three-time all-conference player for the Falcons and added all-state honors during her junior and senior years.
She's probably the most physically strong finesse player, way ahead of her time. You noticed Heather on the floor. She was strong, she was physical, she was confident, but she was also a teammate, and she knew the game very well.
Heather was the cornerstone player for Armstrong her senior year. Helped the Falcons reach the state tournament for the first time in school history, beating Cretin-Derham Hall to win the section title.
And that is it. The Armstrong Falcons are going to state.
Yeah, I remember that. It's so great. Again, I think that's what we were all year really shooting for. It's just that opportunity that we hadn't tasted, I hadn't tasted in my time at Armstrong, for that kind of success. And that was just epic. I remember it. It was so fantastic.
A loss in the state quarterfinals to Rochester Mayo ended Heather's prep career, but not before she had scored over 1,600 points and pulled down 800-plus rebounds in an Armstrong uniform. Basketball was her best, but not only sport at Armstrong. She played volleyball for 3 years, and the beginning of her sophomore year was not easy.
It was pretty humbling after coming off a pretty successful freshman year of basketball, going into starting on the C team sophomore year. And it was one of the best things I've done. And actually, it didn't take me long, and I loved volleyball, and actually could have played after. I had a couple of opportunities to play volleyball after high school.
In the spring, the sport was track and field, where Heather competed in the high jump, open 400, and in her senior year, part of a 4x100 meter relay team that qualified for state. Basketball, though, is what earned Heather a full athletic scholarship. She chose Colorado State University and quickly had to make the transition from post player in high school to shooting guard in college.
I had to learn the game. I had to learn help set. I had to learn closing out. I had to learn denial. I had to move I couldn't just sit and wait for the junk, and I got pulled for it. And so I had to learn real quick. I did in my face. I don't care how many points you score. If you hurt us on defense, you're not playing. I'm like, well, I need to play. So I got to figure this out. I went outside and I spent hours and hours and hours outside, specifically that summer between senior year and freshman year, knowing that I was going to have to teach myself to be a great shooter.
The Western Athletic Conference Freshman of the Year in 1998, spent mostly as a player coming off the bench. Heather then started for 3 years and was a 3-time All-Conference player. The Rams were good, too, reaching number 4 in the national rankings and qualifying for 3 NCAA tournaments.
I don't think I could have ever imagined being first-team All-Conference and playing the Sweet 16 and, being fourth in the nation and playing in front of a packed-out Moby Arena most of the time in my career.
After scoring 1,394 points in college and trying out for the WNBA, Heather had the opportunity to play professionally in the Netherlands. But at that point, she had had enough of basketball.
I needed time. I don't think I could. I was so burnt out because I just gave it everything. I don't think I could turn on the TV and watch the game for a good 2 years after that. So there were opportunities for me to keep playing, and instead I moved on. I got my master's degree in Denver right away in elementary education with a concentration in math, and then I started teaching right after that and coaching.
Heather married her college sweetheart, Dustin Camping, after graduating and earned her master's degree in elementary education at the University of Colorado. The Campings settled in Fort Collins, not far from their old college campus, and are raising 4 young children, Caleb, Mariah, Ethan, and Selah, involving them in everything from piano to dance to soccer, swimming, and more.
And it's good for me because I think if I just had one kid, it'd be really easy for me to maybe even overcommit them because I love athletics so much. But it's a natural sort of limiter for me because if we're going to keep our priorities in line and our family intact and that kind of thing, we can't have them involved in that much, even though they have been busy in lots of activities.
She teaches 6th grade math part-time and coaches middle school basketball. The great outdoors of Colorado allow Heather time to hike, bike, and run. And though she never moved back to Minnesota, a trip back to her high school gym in July brought back great memories for Heather Heyman and Armstrong Falcon for life.
We walked in and my kid said, "Mom, Falcon pride." I thought, yep, I do. I am so proud. And it's so good to make me tear up just a little bit, but it's good to be home. And I'm very grateful that I got to grow up here and for the grace and the leadership of everyone that took me under their wing as a young girl. And it's just a great place to grow up, and I'm very thankful.
They're winning the battle so far on the boards as Hayden comes away with that one.
Great player, and it was great to catch up with Heather this summer, and Cooper Marching Band out on the field right now. And let's hear a little bit of them as we continue our halftime here. Homecoming 2017 for the Hawks.
are led off the field by drum majors Nick Dole and Zach Driscoll.
Cooper Marching Hawks in action on the field this evening here. Their team trailing it by a point, 7-6 to Armstrong. We will come back with more of our live coverage of high school football here on CCX Sports. The Grill fired up.
I see you mobbing over her. Let's go. Let's mob. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, we mobbing. Come on, girl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl.
Every time I hear the alarm bell go off in school, I think it's an air raid.
A lot of houses in our neighborhood have been destroyed. I like to close my ears and sing songs whenever the bombs come close.
I'm worried our new neighbors won't like us.
But I know it's all gonna be worth it. I just want my family to be safe. But these are not my words.
These are not my words.
These are not my words.
Welcome back here to Cooper. Across the way, the sun's still shining over on Armstrong, and the Cooper Hawks fired up. They are by no means discouraged by this halftime score here, 7-6 Falcons. Let's take a look at some first half highlights. It was mostly defense early on in this game. As you see, Gates is wrapped up and driven down by Dwayne Taylor, who unfortunately later in the half was injured for the Hawks. And then we see Ante Burns on the carry here for Cooper, able to pick up a clutch first down for the Hawks. But King throwing here, and we get a pass breakup and then a penalty at the end of that play committed by Cooper. Here's King throwing over the middle. Becak got a piece of it, and then it is intercepted by Weston Johnson, one of a couple of turnovers forced by Armstrong. But here's the touchdown pass as Cooper strikes 41 yards. King to Sproles, and the Hawks taking a 6-0 lead early in the second quarter. Another look at it here as the play action, and boy, he had him beat right away. The only thing was to put the ball on him, and King did. Coming back the other way, Burns with an interception for Cooper to halt an Armstrong drive, but then the favor returned as Becak intercepting that King pass right there. And that set up a touchdown for Armstrong. Breitbach faking the handoff, rolls left, flicks the pass, and Perdola with the catch right in front of one of his teammates. They made the extra point to make it 7-6. Cooper getting a big return late in the half. And a face mask was tacked onto that one as well, but the Hawks unable to do anything with it. Look at the first half stats. It slightly favors Cooper. Wasn't really a ton of offense in that first half. Let's go over now to Allie with Coach Howard.
Hey, thanks, Jay. Coach, down by 1 point, but your defense held their Armstrong to just one first down. Talk about that defensive effort.
You know, our effort is pretty good, but when we talk about being the Cooper football team, we talk about playing together as a team and everybody executing. So our defense is playing pretty good. Our offense has to pick it up, and Armstrong came ready to play.
Talking about offensive pick it up, 39 points you guys averaged, just 6 so far. What are you guys going to do to really ignite that offense?
We're going to play the second half of football. We're going to have to pick this up.
All right, Coach, we'll see you in the second. Thanks.
And thanks, Coach Howard. We appreciate the time of both the coaches here. Obviously, they've got a lot on their mind on a night like tonight, and not only just the X's and O's, but all of the things going on with homecoming and all that, especially for Cooper, obviously, too. So they are. We appreciate them taking the time to
give us a moment or two here as shaping up as a very interesting second half, a 1-point game in that first half. Some turnovers were definitely keys. And we'll see if both teams are able to keep playing as well defensively as they have been. There really wasn't, there a big play here, a big play there, but defenses, I think, definitely were kind of the order of the day in that first half. You were happier if you're a defensive coach probably than if you were an offensive coach on both sides in that first half of play. And I think coaches kind of both touched on a little bit too. Penalties. There weren't, a huge amount of penalties in the first half, but there were definitely costly ones on both teams, and just things that you can't afford to do if you want to win this football game. And obviously in a game like this too, where field position has been a key back and forth as well. They put 3 back up, so we're going to take another timeout here, and then we will begin our third quarter of play here from Cooper High School. You're watching high school football on CCX Sports.
Did you know kids who play outdoors have healthier lungs?
Totally. Did you know that boys that play with dolls make better husbands? My son has lots of dolls.
But did you know terry cloth diapers breathe better?
I did.
It's totally true.
Oh, yeah.
Did you guys know statistically friendly kids have more friends?
Yeah.
That's obvious.
Did you know most people think they're using the right car seat for their kid, but they're not?
Parents who really know it all know for sure that their child is in the right seat. Visit safercar.gov/the right seat to make sure your child is protected.
Welcome back here to Cooper. The Hawks deferred their choice in the after winning the toss to start the game, so they now will get the football to begin half number 2 as Jager puts it on the tee here for Armstrong. A 1-point game, but I think it's safe to say a slightly less happy locker room for Cooper at halftime. I think they've mostly had things go their way in their first 4 wins this year, and to be trailing at halftime, probably not at all what they had in mind, obviously, coming into this one. So Jager will boot it away here. I'm sure for Armstrong the message is, okay, we're ahead now, but we've won nothing. It's only halftime. And he gets a lot of leg into that one and a touchback there. No chance for the return. Cooper will start 1st and 10 from their 20-yard line. There is a bit more of a breeze, I think, now as the evening's gone. And Jager's a good kicker anyway. And you take away any chance for a dangerous return there as he drills it deep. So Cameron King, kind of an uneven first half. A couple of interceptions thrown by him. And the Hawks' overall passing game was a little hit and miss. I think they've certainly had other games and other halves where they've performed better, and they want to try and get things going here to begin this third quarter. Going to go with the handoff. Borden on 1st down, and the pursuit gets there, and they drag him down. He will lose a little bit on that play. They haven't been able to run the ball especially well with the one big exception was that Burns 17-yard run. This will be a loss of 2 for Borden. And as Allie noted earlier, their other back, who's a little bit bigger than Borden, who generally runs the ball a lot, Victor Henderson, went out after getting banged up a little bit after 4 carries. And have not seen him back in there since. 2nd and a dozen now for King and the Cooper offense. Floats it out in the flat to Borden. Borden stepping up hard, but then is driven down at about the 15. So again, Armstrong doing a solid job. And they will have, it looks like a short loss on this play. Looked like initially something might happen for him here as he made a cut, but there's just too many white jerseys around, and they get there and stay in their lanes and make the stop there as Shepard and Gates combining for the tackle. So a 3rd down and long here for Cooper. King looking deep and incomplete as the route was broken off. They just were not on the same page there. Sproles turned and cut to the outside, and the throw sailed way over his head. Cooper actually lucky that this one was out there where nobody could get it. So Armstrong defense so far so good to begin the second half as well, as they force what appears to be a quick 3 and out. Norman waiting back deep here for Armstrong. Sproles on to punt for the Hawks. Sproles getting away a good kick. Norman calling for a fair catch and backpedals and retrieves it on the 37-yard line. 47-yard punt for Sproles, not bad at all. I can kind of see why Armstrong was fooled by the depth of that one. So Falcons get the ball in pretty good field position, but maybe not as good as it seemed like they might. Sproles, a good effort as a punter. Probably the most overlooked part of his game. Obviously plays well on offense and when he's in there on defense too. And punting is something that's another weapon for him, it looks like. Armstrong used 3 quarterbacks in the first half, but they seem to have settled with the sophomore Breitbach for now. Handoff going to Gates, and he is dropped after about a 2-yard pickup. Stop made for the Hawks by Miles Stokes. Armstrong didn't run the ball real effectively in the first half. That Breitbach run that was an apparent touchdown that was brought back by a penalty was really their best run. And that throw incomplete. Nicholson was all over Lozier there. Lozier held without a catch so far in this game. Actually, they've only completed 3 passes total. Or make that 4 total. So 3rd down and 8 coming up here for Armstrong. Cooper trying to get a 3 and out after Armstrong's defense had one. Throw it out to Gates in the flat, and he is popped and hit hard. Cooper D was having none of that one. And a minimal pickup here as you get a look at the throw to Gates. Did a good job of turning it upfield, but flowing in from inside or the outside in there was Miles Stokes to make the tackle. And so now Jaeger on to punt. Sproles waiting back deep at about his 25. High kick. Sproles drifting back. Will take it on the 15. Sproles gets by the first wave and then forced out of bounds. A little shy of the 30, it looks like, is where they will spot him. And give Armstrong a little credit there. It would have been tempting to, to come and make a hit on the sideline here, but they know you don't want to draw that 15-yarder here. So just as he steps out to kind of pull back a little bit there, a smart play. They'll spot it on the 29-yard line as Cooper gets it back. Cooper going to go out of a little wildcat look here. Mosu taking that direct snap. Flag is down on the play as he's thrown down at around the 35. Actually, 2 flags that came in at once. Looks like it's going to be a hold against Cooper. So trying something a little different for the Hawks right there, as they had Mosu in the backfield taking that direct snap, and King was out. And it is indeed a hold on Cooper, so I think both officials saw the same thing. There were 2 flags, but it appears that they both saw the same. So penalties starting to mount up a little bit for the Hawks. Not the way you wanted that drive to start. Push them back to the 19-yard line here. King giving it to Burns, and Peterson gets there in a hurry. Pretty much unblocked. Tyler Peterson getting there and closing the gap, and makes the stop for the loss of about a yard on the play. You want to get there quick to get Burns before he gets going, and because he's a tough guy to bring down, and Peterson did exactly that. Really closed in a hurry there, getting to him. Second and long here, very long for Cooper. King wants a middle screen. Ooh, and it's batted away, nearly intercepted. That would have been really interesting if they'd been able to come down with that one, as Matthew Brown reaching out and swatting it down as they set it up for Burns. Boy, that's a heck of a read by him right there. That one had a chance to do something if Brown didn't get a piece of it. And now 3rd and about 21 here for Cooper. Got to give a lot of credit to the way this Armstrong defense has played here so far in this first half, and then first 4 minutes or so of the second half. They're going to go with the draw up the middle, and Burns will gain some decent yardage, but just give more room for the punt. So they get out to about the 20. And so another punting situation coming up here as Norman will drift back for the Falcons. Sproles had a very good punt last time around. This time a little bit shorter kick. Norman not able to field it though, and it's going to take a good Cooper bounce. Keeps on rolling and out of bounds at the 34-yard line. 46-yard punt, no return. Sproles and Jager actually have both been pretty good on punts tonight, and Armstrong gets the football back on their 34-yard line with 7:23 to go here in the 3rd quarter. Low-scoring defensive battle so far, at least, as Armstrong leading Cooper by a score of 7-6. Falcons have not defeated Cooper since 2004, although there have been a lot of years where they did not play each other. Breitbach will hand it off to Gates, and that hole closed in a hurry. Looked like there was a little bit of room at first, but he was wrapped up and brought down by Burns after a 2, maybe 3-yard gain. Looks like 2. When Burns hits you, you stay hit. It looks like he's strong. So 2nd down and 8 now for the Falcons. Keep it on the ground here to Gates. A little better push that time by the right side of that offensive line, out over the 40-yard line to the 41. Give him 5. And it will bring up a 3rd down and 3 here for the Falcons. Boy, for field position, if nothing else, they'd love to at least get 1 first down. I mean, you want to get a little momentum. Obviously, you'd like to score first and foremost, but at least to get into Cooper territory would be big for them here. Breitbach faking the handoff, throws on the run, and Bowman unable to haul it in. Would have easily been enough for the first down had they gotten it. But instead it will fall as an incompletion, and a 4th down coming up here for Armstrong. Bowman definitely should have had that one, just couldn't get it. And so Jaeger coming on to punt. Once again, Sproles heading back to receive here for the Hawks. Drops it. Nobody's around. Oh, Jaeger thought about running. Now he steps up and punts. Sproles calling for the fair catch and will make it back around the 10. And Cooper saying, hey, how many linemen were downfield before this punt? Not going to be a flag thrown, it looks like, though. Coach Howard wondering why. You see Jaeger drops it, and at first you're looking up and you're thinking, boy, there's a lot of room he could run this, but there were still a few guys there, and he elected not to gamble on Sproles at that point, waiting for the fair catch. And Cooper might have a valid point there, saying virtually everybody was long gone downfield, so, but they'll get the football at their 12. Right past the halfway point, 5:59 to go in quarter number 3. Burns in the backfield next to King. They hand it off to Ante Burns, trying to run right over the tackler there as Gerald Shepard giving up some size there, and he loses the lid, so he'll have to check out for the play here. Burns powering forward for about 6. Gonna go back to Burns on the ground. A big hole to run through. Burns still on his feet and out over the 30 to the 33. Give him about 15. I think Cooper wanting to get a little bit of ground game established here. They've had, kind of, as I said, hit and miss throwing the ball tonight. Really nice blocking up front this time. And then also Burns right here able to keep the legs driving, get a solid gainer as he checks out. First down from the 33 now for the Hawks. Hill back in the backfield now. And he will take this handoff. Hill steps through a tackle. Almost got through another one. Norman kind of got knocked down, but he stayed with it enough to get the tackle, but still another nice gainer. 8 or 9 for Hill on the play. You see a lot of room to run, ran through one tackle. You see right here, Norman really fell down, but he just got enough of him to bring him down. Not before he gains 9, though. 2nd and a yard. Cooper getting some good push up front right now, and they might just stick with this a little bit. Back they go to Hill. And Wozniak, a nice open field tackle, but it looks like it will still be enough for the first down for the Hawks. And boy, that's what a really good first down play can do for you here. This one doesn't really go too far, and it's a nice tackle by Wozniak, but it still moves the chains because of the success you had on first down. The other thing this does, when they've been able to run the ball effectively like this, is you're going to get the attention and get the DBs to start creeping up a little bit, and then perhaps make them vulnerable to a shot down the field as well. And he's going to look to throw it deep towards Sproles. A little back shoulder throw, and he's got it. Norman trying to wrestle it away from him, but the offensive player had it. Sproles will make the catch at the 35. Gain of 21 for the Hawks. Well thrown ball, and Sproles did a good job out fighting the defender for this one. So Cooper in business. Sproles just a couple of catches, but for 62 yards tonight, including the one score that Cooper does have. Back to the ground to Burns, and a big hole to run through. Shepard just tripped him up from behind. And boy, that Cooper line is starting to open some holes for sure. He will pick up about 7 or 8 here on this first down gainer. You see great kick out block there. Shepard pursuing from behind. Boy, that one had a chance to go quite a bit more if Shepard doesn't get to him from the backside there. So 2nd and 3 for the Hawks. Marching it on Armstrong here. Cooper trailing 7-6, but they have something good going. King fakes the handoff, and it is dropped. Adams looking where he was going to go before he secured the catch, so it will bring up 3rd down and 3 now for Cooper as you get another look. We'll see, flat pass there, but just was turning. Might have been a touch behind it, but obviously still catchable. But here again, you had that good successful first down play. Doesn't hurt you that much. You're still in a good spot here at 3 and 3 or 3rd and 3. Handoff goes to Burns, and he lowers the shoulders and looks like he will have enough for the first down. Needed to get to the 25, and he got to about the 24 and a half. And Burns able to get the job done for the first down here. 1st and 10 now on the 24-yard line of Armstrong. Their D has played really well here tonight, but trying to stiffen up and see if they can hold Cooper down. The Hawks have gotten a good rhythm going on the ground. Handoff goes to Burns, a big gap. Burns right up the middle and stays on his feet for the touchdown. Ante Burns finishing that drive in style with a 24-yard touchdown run. And Cooper goes back in front. Give a lot of credit to the O-line on that drive, and then Burns did a nice job on that run. He was going to get a good gainer anyway, but he did a really nice job of staying on his feet there after taking that hit. Cooper missed the first PAT try kicking, so they're going to go for 2 here. King directing traffic here. Hill in the backfield with him. Fakes the handoff. King now rolling to his left. Tried to float it and it was deflected. And Peterson got a piece of that one. Changed the direction of the ball and not able to make the play. So the pass fails. And with 2:17 to go here in quarter number 3, it is 12-7 Cooper. Another look at this touchdown. Huge hole to run through initially. And then watch Burns right here, able to stay on his feet as they tried to chop him down. And it took that hit on the thigh, but stayed upright and marches on in for the touchdown. And then the 2-point try here. Armstrong not really fooled by the play action. King rolling to his left, and he tries to just flick it out there, but you see Peterson got a piece of it and directing it away. No chance really there for Trayshawn McMillan at that point. So give credit to Peterson for a nice play there to thwart that special teams, or that point after touchdown attempt. But the Hawks with a nice drive go back in front. Now Armstrong, their turn to see if they can answer. Lozier and Stokes waiting back deep. Jafar Abdul Rahman, the soccer player / kicker for the football team, out there for Cooper. Lozier grabs it at the 8. And a pretty nice return, wrapped up as he crosses the 30 to about the 31-yard line. And now Armstrong will try and get something going. Overall on the night, they haven't done a lot offensively. The one drive they had for the touchdown was a short drive because of a turnover that they were able to force. So it isn't, they haven't really put a lot together, enough to do some things. They protected the ball generally pretty well, one turnover, but now it's on Breitbach and crew to try and answer back to the scoring drive that Cooper put together. Handing off to Gates, left side. Short pickup on the play as he'll pick up 2 or 3. They haven't really gotten a lot of push against this Cooper line for the most part tonight. Again, enough to move the ball somewhat, but never seeing really large chunks taken at once here for Armstrong. Right back looking to throw. He wants to go deep downfield for Lozier, and it is incomplete, well over his head. Nicholson had good coverage there for the Hawks. That's a fast receiver, but it's also a fast DB as Nicholson stayed right with him. I think Terrence, a guy that maybe, can maybe get overlooked a little bit because of how good, Ante Burns as a Phoenix Sproles is, but Nicholson's a guy they really like, and you can see why right there. So 3rd and 7 coming up here for Armstrong. Fakes the handoff. Breitbach going to run it himself. Slipped one tackle, but not the next. And guess who? Burns able to wrap him up and bring him down. Breitbach will only gain about 2, it looks like, on the play. So once again, Jaeger will come on to punt here. This has been a real kind of an old-time game. Defense and field position and good punting for both teams. Sproles waiting back deep. Jaeger a little trouble handling it, but gets it out of there. And takes a good Armstrong bounce. And actually that was not Sproles back there that time. It was a Musu for Cooper. And all the way back down inside the 15-yard line it'll go. About a 53-yard punt with the bounce included there. So it's one of those games where you kind of give hats off to both punters too. Down under a minute to play in this 3rd quarter. Armstrong led 7-6 at halftime. Cooper put together a nice drive last time to retake the lead on the 24-yard run by Ante Burns. 3 receivers to the left and 1 out to the right for the Hawks. Handoff goes to Hill. A nice hole to run through. Hill cutting it back, stumbles down at the 25. Will be a pickup of a dozen, but it looked like for a moment it might really break out. You see this huge hole on this draw play, and a couple of arm tackle tries there for Armstrong, not able to get him. So a first down that could have been something really big there maybe for Hill, but they will take it out to the 25. King's going to come back to Hill. Another big hole to run through. Hill ridden down from behind there by Armstrong, but he will pick up about 14 more. And once they reset the chains, we'll wind the clock and it'll probably be the end of the quarter. Stop made there by Vincino Lopez for Armstrong. So that is going to bring us to the end of quarter number 3. Cooper retaking the lead in the 3rd. 1 quarter to play here at Cooper High School on CCX. It's Cooper 12 and Armstrong 7.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes? B, console her?
Don't worry, sweetie. This is gonna happen a lot.
Or C, find her a new boyfriend?
Nice, single boys. That was weird.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
It's been a good one here tonight at Cooper, Barbara A. Lehman Stadium. And the Hawks leading Armstrong by a score of 12-7. Cooper football 1st and 10 on their 39 as we change ends and begin this quarter. Things cooling down a little bit after the sun went away this evening. King's going to hand it off to Burns. Burns makes a nice cut. Boy, Armstrong is really having trouble getting off blocks right now. Almost every play has been a big hole to run through in the last half dozen or so for the Hawks. And Burns will get about 9 on this carry. You look at this good push up front. Overrun a little bit by the first guy there for the Falcons, and Becak able to eventually bring him down, but not until he had gained 9. Back to the ground to Burns. He is tripped up. Let's see where they'll mark this. Don't think he got the first down. No, he's going to be about a yard short, it looks like. He kind of skidded forward, but he ends up really getting only about a half yard on the play. So 3rd down and 1 coming up here for the Hawks. Another look at it as he was just tripped up trying to split between the tacklers there. Hill coming back into the backfield now for the Hawks. And they will go to Hill. Wozniak comes up and meets him. And they get the tackle. Going to be just short of the first down. It'll get back maybe to the line, but not quite. No, it's going to be a short loss. Watch Wozniak come in and meet him hard. So a 4th down situation here for Cooper. Looked like they had some things going. A couple of nice runs to start the drive. Sproles on to punt. Wouldn't be the biggest surprise in the world to see something other than just a punt here. I think they're going to try and draw Armstrong offside as well. They also didn't have 11 out. Sproles booting a high short kick. No fair catch. And Norman is wrapped up immediately. Quite a gamble for him to not fair catch that one. Probably fortunate that they didn't lose the ball there, but it'll be Armstrong football. Another look. Norman hasn't had a chance to field many of these, and he decides he wants to here. And he is wrapped up immediately. Whoa, and then a big tumble at the end over the top of his teammate. Jarrell Smith-Shannon getting there for the stop there for the Hawks. So Armstrong football on the 16, 9:35 to go, 4th quarter. They are down 12-7. After Fliss and Preem each played a little bit, the sophomore Breitbach has taken over at quarterback and gone the rest of the way here for Armstrong. Handing it off. And a big wrap up there as Gates met up with Shaquan Watson, 6'4", 320. And you're generally not going to get out of a bear hug from that guy. Watson making the play there. No gain for Gates. Second down and 10 here for Armstrong. Keep it on the ground. This time a little bit of running room. Going to be not quite enough for a first down, but a solid gainer there for Gates as he's going to pick up about 8, it would appear. So 3rd and a couple. Boy, a key situation. You know, we're nearing the halfway point of this 4th quarter. You don't know how many more times you're going to get the ball here. So when you get a chance for a 3rd and 2, you really would like to convert if you're Armstrong. Breitbach keeping it. And he will have the first down as Nicholson brings him down short of the 35. Pickup of about 9 here, looks like, in all for Breitbach. Shown no fear in terms of keeping the football in those type of plays. So Armstrong trying to get something going here as they try and battle back from this 12-7 deficit. Fakes the handoff. Right back. Ooh, took a hard hit. Was wrapped up around the legs and then hit up high as well as Watson got him around the legs. And then they took a solid pop. Right back will get about 3. Breitbach firing, and it is complete to Stoker, wrapped up immediately. Nicholson on the stop. We'll leave him with short yardage to go here. Stoker getting his first reception of the night. So 3rd and about 3 here for the Falcons, able to convert last time around. Oh, and he is met immediately, and Burns will toss him down. Fake the handoff. Breitbach looked up, and 23 is right in his face, and that'll be a loss. Watch Burns come up hard and high and throw him down. And so they'll lose yardage on that play and force another punting situation for Jaeger. Sproles waiting back deep on about the 30. And Jaeger gets the punt away. No chance to field this one, and it will take a nice bounce for the Falcons back down to the 16-yard line of Cooper. About a 46-yard punt that time, and Cooper will get it back. Boy, if Armstrong, if that 3rd down play had gotten a little bit, you might have thought about possibly going for it on 4th, but when they had the big loss, kind of forced them to punt. Now you're to a spot where you might only get the ball back maybe once more, or depending on how things go here. 6:10 to go in the 4th, and Cooper has shown a great ability to run the ball of late here. And I suspect that we'll see a little bit more of that. Their O-line's been getting good push, and Burns and Hill have kind of taken turns getting some nice runs. So not that you want to be overly conservative, but at this point, that's been effective for them, and I suspect we'll see some more of it. And here it is. Hill taking the handoff, wrapped up here. Armstrong trying to hope they could wrap him up and then yank the ball free, but Hill hangs on to it. Not much of a gainer there, but maybe a yard or so for Hill. So a 2nd down to 9 situation for the Hawks here. King looking to throw it out into the flat. And well defended here. They get the completion as Wooten hauls it in. But not a lot. Just too many bodies to really, get a solid blocks on. They did get a few yards out to the 20. So it will bring up a 3rd and 6 here for Cooper as an important chance for them to try and convert and obviously use more clock, get better field position here. Even if you do end up punting, you'd like it to be from a little farther out. You'd like it to be with some more time gone. Meanwhile, for Armstrong, if they could get off the field on this play, it'd be big. Now, and Hill breaking through. Big hole. Hill bounces it to the outside. And Hill into Armstrong territory and will trot out of bounds at about the 42-yard line. A huge play right there for the Hawks. 38-yard gainer for Hill. And write that one down if you're thinking about plays that maybe help push them to a victory here. Hill could see he wasn't going to be able to, they had too many guys out front. He wasn't going to be able to run. I mean, at that point, he'd say, I'll just take my gainer and get out, not take any chance on fumbling or anything. So Falcons had them in a 3rd down situation, but get gashed for a big run. So Hawks football, 1st and 10 at Armstrong's 42 as Burns comes back into the backfield. Ante Burns will take the handoff. Good open field tackle there by Wozniak, one-on-one. However, it's still not a bad gainer at all on 1st down. It's a 4-yard pickup. That O-line for Cooper deserves some credit here. They have gotten some things going, gotten some things figured out, and sometimes you stick with the run and it starts to open up for you too. I think the play calling has been pretty good in the second half here for the Hawks. So 2nd down and 6 here for Cooper. Under 4 minutes to go now in the game. Back to Burns, running into a wall there. And he'll get a short pickup, but pretty well defended that time for the Falcons. And it will bring up a 3rd and about 5 here for Cooper. It's an interesting spot too. You don't necessarily want to slow your own tempo too much if you're Cooper, but at the same time, you want to use as much of that play clock and as much of the game clock as you can each time around too. Third down and 5 here for the Hawks. Timeout's going to be taken by Cooper. Crucial play here as we tick down late in this ball game. 3 minutes, 11 seconds to play. It has been a good one. 2nd straight week, we've had a nice game. Last week, Osseo Champlain Park was a heck of a game decided late, and this one has been a good one too. Maybe not quite the fireworks or the big plays offensively that some might have expected coming into this one, but you give a whole lot of credit to the way the defenses have played. Forcing some turnovers, but also just some solid tackling and generally not a lot of big breakdowns. Obviously, we've had a couple here or there, but Cooper on the road twice in a row. Richfield is their next opponent. Armstrong will be back at home as they host Jefferson. It's coming Friday. So here we go, 3rd down and 5 play. Cooper probably in 4-down territory here anyway, or maybe. They're going to hand it off to Hill, and we'll never know because they're going to get the 1st down with ease. Hill finally dragged down, but not before he easily gains enough for the 1st down. It'll be about a 14-yard pickup. And after really doing not a lot offensively in the 1st half, Cooper has really put some things together, much of it on the ground here in this 2nd half. And so they'll have it at the 23-yard line of Armstrong, 1st and 10. Perhaps just as importantly, the clock ticking, and we're down to 2:50 to go here in this 4th quarter. And King looking to the bench. They're going to let him know when he should be looking to snap this ball. Back on the ground it goes. Burns, a big hole to run through. Burns is going to score again. It looks like, yes. Touchdown, Cooper. Ante Burns in from 23 yards out. So Burns able to fight his way and falls over the goal line with these there. And the Hawks extend their lead. They again will line up to try and go for 2 here. Snap it to Borden, and then it's a reverse pass. Look at that. King, the receiver. Oh, they pull out all the stops here. King walking away as though he were looking elsewhere. The snap going directly to Borden, then the little flip. And King turns out to be the receiver on the play. Those are the kind of plays that kids love to run in practice. And, you know, Coach, are we ever going to use it? Watch King looking around, flips it over. Mosu throws. King's wide open. 2-point conversion is good, and it's 20-7 Hawks with 2:34 to go in the ball game. So time not on Armstrong's side right now. 2:34 left. Cooper will kick it away. Falcons need a couple of scores here. Abdul Rahman getting set to kick here for the Hawks. Goes short with it. Perdola calls for a fair catch at about the 21-22. Obviously, that's something you normally see on punts, not all that often on kickoffs, but it is still a legal play to make that fair catch there. So they will get it at their 22-yard line, but a lot of time to go and need some points, and haven't really been able to put anything together offensively here in the second half. But you've still got a shot, and you got to take a shot if you're the Falcons. Taylor sure if there's a clock issue or official wasn't allowing Armstrong to snap the ball yet to get something squared away, but looks like it's ready now. Breitbach will hand it off up the middle to Gates. And just a couple yard pickup there, and that kind of tells you that Armstrong may be feeling like there's not going to be a chance to really move it up the field here. And Breitbach this time looking to throw, fires over the middle and is intercepted. Ante Burns another pick. Great hands to haul it in. The flag flies. Burns spinning around and then finally will be brought down right around the 30-yard line. So Burns, second pick of the night. Wow, he's done a little of everything. Flag was on the return, so the interception is going to stand, and then I think a block in the back against Cooper on the return. So Burns, great hands on this ball as he gets up right in front of the receiver. I mean, it was a potential catch for Bowman, but there are a lot of black jerseys around, and Burns able to haul it in. Right at the end here, Burns is probably wishing he had gotten down earlier here because he's getting sandwiched pretty good there. So Cooper football at the Armstrong 39-yard line, 1:58 to go. Handoff, and it looks like Henderson is back in. He had been out for long time. He wanted to get back in on the fun and probably told him I'm good to go here, and he'll pick up about 3.
Up to the Falcon 37-yard line.
Maybe 2 on the gainer, so 2nd and 8, but right now for Cooper, it's just don't make a mistake and give the ball away here as they want to celebrate a hard-fought win. Not an easy game by any means. They trailed at halftime in this one. Back to Henderson it goes, and a big gap to run through. Henderson ridden down by Becak there around the 20. That'll give them a first down here. And should pretty much seal things up here for the Hawks if it wasn't already. As you see, good blocking up front again here, and Becak is a good one. He closes in a hurry and brings him down at the 21. King again looking to the bench, not wanting to snap this ball any earlier than they need to here. Back on the ground to Henderson, runs into a lot of white jerseys as they try and yank the ball free. And he'll be down a little short of the 15. And I don't think they'll need to snap this ball again if they don't want to here. So it maybe took a little while to get going, but it's going to be a successful homecoming here for Cooper. After trailing at halftime 7-6, they get the only points of the second half. A couple of touchdowns for Ante Burns. And the Hawks will pick up a victory, their fourth in a row against their district rivals from Armstrong. So there is your final score, a 20-7 victory for Cooper. Strong defensive effort all the way through here for the Hawks. And they finally got that offense going a little bit more in the second half. Maybe didn't throw the ball and complete as many as they would have liked tonight overall, but the running game in the second half was big. That O-line got some things established, pushed Armstrong around a little bit. Falcons got tired out a little bit, I think, as well. And the Hawks, kind of a good business-like victory. I mean, they're not all going to be easy ones. I think this was a good test for them and probably something they needed, rather than a blowout win. So Armstrong played a good first half, no doubt about it. They played pretty well all night defensively, but just didn't have a lot going firepower-wise on offense tonight, and that leads to the defeat here. So they will drop to 3-2. Cooper staying perfect at 5-0 with a nice victory. We will take a break. Ollie will search out a Hawk or two here to talk to in just a moment. Cooper wins it over Armstrong, 20-7.
Oh, look, a redhead. Staring contest. Still got it. I know.
Come alive with the forest.
The dad was cute.
You were looking right at us.
Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat?
1 in 5 children struggles with hunger in America. Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
Doesn't see race.
Love is love.
I'll never forget the day our landlord called and said, read your lease. No pets allowed. My owner tells him my dog ate the lease, but that didn't work. And now I'm stuck in a shelter. But this pit bull is ready for a new crib. I'm loving, loyal, and play well with others. So don't be intimidated by all my muscles, because the biggest one I have is my heart. That's right, I said it.
Hey, did you know 2.4 million loving cats and dogs in shelters and rescues need our help to find a home? Let's go to theshelterpetproject.org and meet if you are in a shelter near you. Harlow, oh, she's one great listener who loves to hear all your stories. My kind of cat. Cerulo is a sweet, goofy boy who's eager to please. Sounds just like another dog I know. So go to theshelterpetproject.org, search your local shelters and rescues, and go for a cuddle with your next best friend. Adopt.
Some happy Cooper Hawks here as they win it over Armstrong tonight, 20-7. It was not an easy one. They got tested and they persevered. They didn't panic in that second half. Came out and just settled down. Their defense was strong all night long. I don't think they really had much of breakdowns defensively at any point. The one touchdown Armstrong got was after a turnover in a real short field to work with. But offensively, Cooper definitely picked it up. The guys up front and you know, just the running backs too, with seeing Burns and Hill really contribute some big runs that helped them out and helped them get the victory and move to 5-0. I think it's one they're glad to have behind them a little bit too. I mean, obviously you don't want to have any losses, but you don't want to have one against your district rival to kind of interrupt what, you know, had been a great season up to this point or anything too. Looks like Allie is ready now. Let's go down to the field with Allie.
Thanks, Jay. Not only did these guys just win homecoming, they are also undefeated. We're going to start here with Ante Burns doing some things tonight. I'm calling it a double-double. 2 interceptions, 2 touchdowns. Let's walk through a few of them. It was in the second quarter was your first interception. Take us through it.
I'm just reading my running back, just going over, doing what I'm taught to do. So
it's as simple as that. Was that the same case for the fourth quarter interception as well?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and then let's talk about those touchdowns. So, you know, those were incredible, both of them. The first one in the second quarter, 24 yards. Walk us through that play.
Lineman blocked. I did my job, just running up the gap, so that's what I did.
It's all pretty simple for you. Talk about this defensive effort tonight, because in the first half, you held Armstrong to just 1 first down. And then in the second half, no touchdowns, no scores.
We're taught to get to the ball every play, so we got to hustle and pursuit to the ball. So that's it.
Congratulations on a huge game on your part. We're now going to take it over here to Nate Hill. Nate, in the first half of the game, the second quarter, you came off the field with a shoulder injury. It took you out for a moment. How's that shoulder feeling now?
It's real great, and, you know, the win helps it too.
It sure does, but in that second half, you had to come out and take the brunt of everything because Victor Henderson had come out with a bit of an injury. You took the brunt of it all, but you came out and had an incredible performance.
Thank you.
What was it about your performance tonight that allowed you to really be so productive?
My linemen, you know, I went in the huddle, I told them I loved them. You know, I told them block for me, get the job done, and they did it, opened up a hole.
You guys are halfway through the season at this point, undefeated. You guys haven't been to a state tournament since 1996. What does the second half season look like for you guys coming up?
We hopefully it looked the same as this, you know, at the beginning. So, yeah.
What do you have to say about this team and the performance that they've shown tonight when this was probably the biggest test you've battled so far?
I'm proud of them. You know, I'm proud of my team. You know, they came out and did their job.
Hey, that's all it takes. Go enjoy homecoming.
All right.
All right, Jay.
Thanks, Allie, and thanks to Ante and Nate as well. A great performance, second half, just getting the job done here for the Hawks. Been a good football game here tonight. We hope you've enjoyed it here. I always enjoy being around the Robbinsdale schools here. So our final score tonight is Cooper 20 and Armstrong 7 for Allie and all of our crew. I'm Jay Wilcox. Good night from New Hope.